Earthlings! It's me, Magical Princess, Angel of Justice, Protector of the peace-loving planet of Rabufru, at your service. Hello, everyone! So today, no surprise, we're going to be working on more manga pages. But still, it's a good thing. It motivates me to get it done. Hello, welcome Kawaii Girl and Nova. How are you both? This is a page that I've decided to work on today. I'm kind of running out of sketches that are pre-done, and I don't really like to draw the comic book pages during the stream, I guess. So I'm just going to work on what I have, and I'm just going to do this page from volume 8. This is in chapter 19, aboard the pirate Belgium's spaceship. So this is what we're gonna do. It's kind of just a funny scene where they're all eating and discussing their next steps in their villain plans. So this is what we're gonna work on today. Oh, welcome Nova then. I'm glad that you decided to stop in. I'm doing pretty alright. I'm doing alright, yeah. Happy to be streaming, that's for sure. How are you all doing? Angel Stories, hi, it's been a while. Angel Stories says, I would like to ask a question for your manga. Are there any other magical girl stories that I've worked on personally? I have a lot of magical girl OCs, that's for sure. Stories that I would like to create in the future that I kind of have planned out. However, Magical Princess Sky is the only comic book that I have released so far. I've been working on it for the last 9 years and just trying to get it done before I move on to a new story. But I do have other OCs. I've drawn a few of them on stream before. My external hard drive is not hooked up, so unfortunately I can't post them right now, but if you take a look through some of my old Instagram posts and that kind of thing, in fact I've even drawn a lot of them on stream. I have 2 fairy magical girls that are based off of moths. One of them being Fruit Punch, which is kind of like a play on the fact that her attack is she punches people. And then I have Lavender Limeade, which is her Fruit Punch's sidekick, which is why I call her Aid, but spelled not like Limeade should be spelled, but like aid is in like assistance. So magical girl names that are just puns really, and they have to protect a forest. And I haven't really gotten farther other than that. I just know that, you know, I think the story would be short and more centered on a romance between the 2 magical girls. But it hasn't really been fleshed out other than the fact that I like to draw them sometimes. I also have another story that I like to doodle characters from sometimes called Wildflower Crisis, which involves magical girls that get their powers from these little symbiotic flower aliens that attach to their heads. And the flowers give magical girls ability in exchange for taking... Well, I mean, ability not so much. I guess the magical girls don't really want to be fighting, but the flowers allow the magical girls to heal something that's wrong with them or something that they want to change. So if somebody, doesn't have eyesight, the flower will give them eyesight. If they're losing a limb, the flower will create a limb for them. Things like that. And they fight these other plant monsters that are kind of turning other people into zombies. So this one's a little darker than any of my previous stories, and not sure if I'll actually ever publish any of these. These are just ideas that wind up in my head and I've drawn a lot of characters for. And then I also have some other more loose magical girls. One called Pearly, and I just put a new sticker sheet of her up for last Halloween, I believe it was. But she's kind of like a Halloween-themed magical girl, and she was one of my oldest OCs. A little bit after Sky was created, probably when I was about 6 or 7. And she basically goes into another dimension and fights her inner demons, I guess. So she's got more of a spooky vibe, but it's not violent or anything. It's just self-reflective and a little spooky. So I don't know how to describe that one. I also have some Magical Girl OCs that I did that were supposed to be like nurses, and they get their magical powers to help cure people from diseases by getting like a magical shot every week that allows them to retain their Magical Girl powers. So if they don't go into the clinic and get their shot, then they can't be a Magical Girl anymore. And that one was to help me deal with getting the COVID shot in 2021 because I am definitely afraid of needles. And so I tried to like gaslight myself into thinking that if I got the shot I could become a Magical Girl. Because I would just pass out randomly if I would think too much about needles. And that's definitely improved for me. As you can see, I'm talking about needles right now and not passing out. And people just keep telling me, you know, you shouldn't be afraid of needles. Like, I don't get it. And I'm like, I don't get it either. You know? It's a phobia. I don't know what to tell these people that are like, needles aren't scary. I'm like, I know. Like, I look at a needle, it's not scary. I think about it pricking me. I realize that it's not going to hurt any more than accidentally stabbing myself with a knife while cooking, which I do frequently. And yet I would just pass out. Yeah, so I was just creating some Magical Girl OCs to help me cope with that, I guess. Kawaii Girl says, I have a few, can I share? I'm working on this story called Celestial Garden Starlight Legacy. Yes, go ahead and share all your Magical Girl OCs in the chat too. I'm always curious what kind of stories other people are developing. Angel stories, I'm pretty sure that you also have some Magical Girl stories. So we can all swap some Magical Girl stories in the chat. I guess let me start working on the line art here. Oops. No, this is the wrong one. It's supposed to be this finger first. I'm not really sure what the other fingers are doing in this situation. I know that I was opening a sparkly water when I was drawing this reference, and I'm not really sure where my other fingers went, so I've got to take a look at that real quick, I guess. Okay, so I'm making a gesture with my own hands and staring at it oddly. Alright, so my other finger's there, my pinky looks weird coming out of there, but that's just how it is, I guess. Drawing hands is so weird. I can come back to that and fix it if I think it looks wrong, but that's a start. Kawaii Girl says, Celestial Guardians Starlight Legacy is about a girl named Hikari. She's from a long line of magical guardians, and she's trying to figure out her past. Nice. I like anything with a celestial theme, that's for sure. As you can probably tell. And Angel Story says, I've been working on Magical Girl series for a while now. It's called Key Spirits or Crystal Spirits, so it's about 5 girls who get their magical power from crystal spirits. Ooh, very nice. Angel Stories also says, each of the girls have their own transformation different, and they have one spirit that teaches them how to use their powers and how to protect the Crystal Kingdom on Earth. Very nice. So are they all related back to real life earth crystals, or is it like more of a imaginary crystal? I'm curious because I got pretty into gems and crystal types and stuff last year. If you saw me working on my fairy, my crystal fairy calendar. So I was getting really into like researching about different crystals like peridot and amethyst. And so I'm just curious if they're connected to real life crystals or kind of like some kind of like out of this world crystals that are more fantasy style. Angel Story says one of the girls is called May, and she takes care of a young girl named Rose, who is her daughter. I mean, like, she took care of her for the Roseforn family, and Rose is part of a royal family, so May just takes care of her for the royal family. May still has her own mom, she's just taking care of Rose. Oh, cute. So she's kind of like an older sister figure or motherly figure for a little princess that she's taking care of. That sounds pretty adorable. I have to go get a soda water out of the fridge if I'm supposed to draw this, but I'm just gonna do my best right now, and I'll just fill it in with however it can really looks later. This is supposed to be an energy drink. One of the jokes that I had about Georgia so Georgia is actually a character created by one of my close friends, Alpine, originally, and one of the running jokes is that Georgia drinks a lot of energy drinks, but she likes to pour them into like cute wine glasses and stuff to be fancy. And so I've finally drawn her doing so in this volume, which is a lot of fun. So I'm just gonna do the outline of her hair. Angel Story says about the story that they're making. We have Ren and Hikari and Rika, and the three of them are magical girls. Ren and Hikari have... There's like a little heart that's covering the bottom of your sentence. Wait. Okay. Ren and Hikari have a type of Rory. Rika is a long wolf because of her father. I don't know what a Rory is. But it sounds like you have a lot of fleshed out characters and motives and familiar connections, which is really cool. One of the funniest things about working on Magical Princess Sky is that some people are related, but I didn't think that they were related when I made them into the story or otherwise when I first created their characters. Like the characters of York and London are brothers, right? But when I first created them, it was more like they were found family and pretended to be brothers, but then as I worked on their story, I realized that they were brothers, and I don't know. It was just kind of a weird experience where I was like, oh, that makes more sense. And then there's another soldier of the Kanar that comes in briefly in one scene in like volume 4 or 5. And I thought she looked kind of familiar when I drew her, and I was like, oh, that's because all my characters have same face syndrome. But then when I was working on volume 7, I was like, oh, wait, that's actually France's mom. So, because I needed to design a character for her, and I drew this character that I had already drawn, and then I was like, wait a moment. So it's kind of funny that I'm kind of winging it when it comes to some of the things in this story, but some of the things I have planned out from the start. But I think that's kind of like how I like to operate, so that I can change some things as I think about it, and then other things are more set in stone, so at least I have a direction on where I'm going. Yeah, it's a good combo for me. It's funny sometimes. Hello, welcome Midnight Channel. Midnight Channel says you have a really nice model. Thank you so much. I actually rigged and drew this model, so that definitely means a lot. Oh, I see. Angel Story says Rory's rivalry. Okay, so there's some rivalry in your story. Interesting. Angel Stories also says, what I meant was that Ren and Hikari kind of think of each other as rivals because Ren is sporty and athletic. Or Ren is sporty and athletic because Ren is athletic and sporty and Hikari is really smart and really talented. That's why they don't like each other. And what I said about Rika, the reason why she's a lone wolf because of her father is because she was friends with the main character and her father didn't like that, so he separated the two. Interesting. So there's a lot of drama going on between some of the characters in the story. Some conflict to add some interest. Very cool. Hello, welcome Akane. How are you? I'm doing alright. How are you doing? Let's do her ear. And her other ear. Oh, I did not decide what kind of outfit she was going to wear today. That's alright. I'll just kind of draw around it while I think about it. So that's like her thumb, sort of. And she's pouring her drink into her cup. It's gotta have some fabulous fingernails. Oops. Oh, that's completely fine, Akane. Yeah, she's got her pinky out because she's a little fancy. Still trying to decide what to put on her for her outfit. I'm just going to go ahead and draw her face while I think about that. Sometimes I do separate outfit design sketches before I start adding characters into a chapter, and sometimes I just kind of throw some clothing on them because I'm impatient to get it done and don't want to think about it anymore. And this is going to be one of those cases where I just throw something on her to get it done. She kind of wears like sporty goth outfits most of the time in the other books in the series. So she wears like high top sneakers and skirts and glitter and band t-shirts and stuff. So I'll just have to keep that in mind and just draw something. I don't remember if she has any earrings, so I'll have to add those whenever I remember. Unfortunately, it does not really seem like I know much about my own OCs sometimes. Though I guess Georgia was technically created by one of my friends, so that I guess I can let it slide on this one. Probably probably gonna bring this hand kind of back into the frame once I start to get this done. Welcome, Fredbear! Fredbear says, my fellow fruit bowls. Akane says, drawing looks nice, by the way. Thank you! Alright, so now for the... should probably just use the line tool for this so that the lines of this drink are straight. Use the curve line tool to make the bottom. Just gonna freehand the top though. Move it around. It's like a very tall can. I think it's too tall of a can, almost. Shrink this down. That's too much energy drink. I have like a little bit of a smaller energy drink going on. Is probably for the best. There we go. That's a more reasonable size, right? Kawaii Girl wants to know when I'm going to release the manga. I'm hoping sometime around the end of the year. I know that's not super promising, but I've just started kind of working on it as fast as I can, and there's a lot more detail and things going on in this volume, and I know I've been working on it for forever now, but yeah, probably by the end of the year I'm hoping. At least the Kickstarter will be out by around that time to help fund it and get some special rewards and stuff. So just keep an eye out. I'll obviously post when that happens. I'm on page 32 now, I guess. Like I've completed 32 pages completely, but I have a lot that are sketched and a lot that are written out as scripts, which is really like the hardest problem that has made this take so long in the first place. Make this glass a little fancy. Akane says, I'm eating, so response kind of slow. Am watching. Akane says, possible release to 2024. That's so hype. Wishing you the best. Thank you. I'm doing my best to release it as soon as possible. Yeah, I'm hoping that's how it'll go at least. I know that I've been kind of wishy-washy about when it's going to be released, but I really do think that it's going a lot smoother than it has, so I really do think that it's going to be alright to put a release kind of date on it soon. Alright, I'm just gonna do a random shirt on her for the moment. This is one of the ways that I'm now speeding things up. Is I just draw something if I can't decide. I just draw something if I can't decide and I just move on. I can come back to it later, and I think that's really helping. It's really helping me get a little bit of a faster rhythm, I think. Real Fredbear says, I have to go to my grandpa's later. Should I bring my ex-aunt and haunt my little cousin with Doom? I don't know much about the game Doom other than that it's very hard to play, so I've heard, so I don't know, I guess that's up to you. Right, I gotta draw the table. She's actually kind of facing this way, isn't she? I don't know why I drew her arms so long, though. Let me turn off the bottom layer so I can see what is actually happening here. Alright, this arm is too long. Kind of out of place. So let's do a little bit better. So her arm should be kind of like closer to her and underneath the table, I think. No, I have never played Doom. I've only heard that it's hard. I don't even really know what it's about. It looks scary, though. Why don't you give us a brief synopsis about what the game's about, Fredbear? So I gotta look it up right now. Oops. I did not mean to erase that there. Because I want to erase that elbow. Like that. And it looks like I did both of these in the same. So let's split up these two panels. I did not mean to put them in the same folder. That's going to make it harder for me to move things around. Alright, they're separated. I want her, oh my god. Her eyeballs just flew away from her head. I must have put something in the wrong folder. Yes, I put her head in there. Okay. Take it out. Okay, that looks better. Now I'm gonna move it a little over. Now what I'm gonna want to do is make this box bigger. Okay. Better. Just move around some things. Alright. Just coming along. Midnight says, basically you shoot demons in Doom. Okay. Real Fredbear says, Doom is super fun shooter game where you murder demons and it's gory and fun. Okay. Probably not my type of game then. There's a third game, which is more of a horror game. Okay, interesting. Maybe that's why I thought it was more of a horror game than just a shoot 'em up game. Alright, I'm gonna come back to that later. Let's see what the other panels are supposed to be. Second. Just looking at something. to my drawing. Drew her forehead really high for some reason in this sketch. Just gonna bring that down a little bit. Angel Stories says, have you heard of a Chinese magical girl series called Balala the Fairies? Interestingly enough, yesterday night I was watching a YouTuber called Sailor Guardian Hope. I don't know if anybody here knows her, but she does a lot of like nostalgic, like early 2000s cartoon content and a lot of magical girls, and I was binging some of her videos last night, and I got on to watching one about the Chinese magical girl series Balala the Fairies, and I think I got about 15 minutes into it, but it is a 40-minute video, so I didn't finish it. But so yes, I've heard about it, but only yesterday, which is kind of funny. Have you watched any of it? Would you recommend it? I'm gonna move her eyes up. I don't know why I had them so far down. I did this drawing a few months ago, I guess, and I'm just not happy with its wonkiness. I've gotta fix things as I go. Alright, that might not also, that might, oh gross. No, that doesn't look good either though. I'm complaining about how wonky my old drawings are when my new drawings are wonkier, huh? Okay, let's put back on that. The solution to this is I'm going to draw the eyes on a separate layer, and then we're just going to move them around until they seem like they're in the right spot. Alright. I'm going to turn off that bottom layer again. Looks like a little crooked. I might just re-sketch this. This is just not doing it for me. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the old sketch and we're just going to redraw on top of it. Check the facial anatomy. So there's like a circle, pretty rough circle. It's a cheek, so that means that that's kind of the angle. Her head's pretty tipped back. So nose is going to be a little higher than that, I think. Ears would normally be down here. They are these kind of like elf style ears. I'll draw them like that. Kawaii Girl says, Valhalla is the best. Tell me about why you love it. Recommend, I know there's a few series of it, at least that's what Sailor Guardian Hope, the YouTuber, was saying, so if there's like a specific one that you would recommend, just let me know. Angel Stories says, I have watched Ocean Magic, which is one of the Balala Fairy seasons. Really like that one because it's ocean themed and really pretty, and I love it a lot. Oh, very cool. Kawaii Girl also says the Ocean Magic is the best, so that seems like a good recommendation. I liked the ocean themed Pretty Cure season. I did watch all of that, which was the Tropical Rose Pretty Cure. So ocean themes are pretty fun. Sometimes I kind of watch ocean themed stuff because I love the ocean, but it kind of scares me, so it helps. I watch something kind of like magical about it. Okay, for some reason I'm still not digging her head shape. I'm just going to keep working on it. He's sipping that energy drink. There's the original sketch. I think her body's a little weirdly shaped too. It's kind of like more like this. Like her whole body should move a little bit this way. I know that I drew this page really fast one night late, so if I have to redo some of it, so be it. Also, her arms are a different length again. I am measuring with my fingers. I know it's hard to tell because you can't see my fingers on the screen, but that's how I'm measuring these little lines for where I think that the joint should be. Alright. Hi, welcome Marius Siskino. Nice to see you. It's been a while. Oh, hi Marius. It's been a while. How are you? Good to see you. Akane says I should check out this ocean themed series. Sounds pretty cool. Like anything to do with ocean, really. Nice. I'm glad that the recommendations are flowing in the chat. Alright, I'm gonna try to draw this again. Alright, so her bangs. Still not 100% happy with this, but I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens. Okay, like this. And some of her hair was kind of over the shoulder. It's the same shoulder. My music is stopped. Oh no, her whole hair is over the shoulder. Okay, I was doing it wrong. Gotta double check my own sketches. Let's make sure that the music is playing. Kawaii Girl says, Allie, you should watch Magical Girl Raising Project. It's great. So, I keep forgetting to finish that show. I had started watching it years ago now. Maybe, you know, as far back as like 2018 or something, or 19, I don't remember. And I had watched the first 3 episodes of it and decided that it looked really neat and that my sister would like it, and so I paused watching it until my sister could join me in watching it, but then I moved out soon after and then just kind of forgot that I had wanted to finish it. And every time somebody brings it up, I'm like, oh yeah, I should put that on my list, and then just immediately forget. But I did like the first 2 episodes. So maybe someday I will finish it. Need a smaller eraser here. I drew some fan art of it, even some sketches back at the time when I was watching it. I drew Ripple, I drew Nimmerin because I loved her to bits and pieces. She was my favorite, and we all know how that turned out. I also drew Snow White at one point. So I definitely liked it enough to draw fan art and try to get my sister to watch it. I really just gotta finish it. It's only 12 episodes, right? Seems doable enough. Alright, we're gonna edit this cup. But first of all, have thicker lines. And now, we're gonna shift it so that it has a different perspective. I just wanted the kind of the shape of it to be still kind of correct. So now this can be like the bottom. There we go. Because she's holding a wine glass real fancy like. Probably needs to make her head a little closer or something. Make this hand a little closer. Probably has it between those two fingers. Alright, we can continue. Kawaii Girl also recommends Magical Girl Sight. Yeah. You know, I know a lot of people like it, but it was a very triggering series for me. I just felt like it was too hopeless, and pain was too sexualized, and I just couldn't get into it. It was just, yeah, just triggering for a lack of a better word. You know, I watched that first episode and felt like I was gonna throw up, so I just didn't watch any more of it. But, yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people give it positive reviews, though. Yeah, I guess for me, there's like a very fine line between what I find acceptable in a dark magical girl anime and what I don't. And I think it really comes down to how something with abuse is told. And for me, the show just did not portray abuse in a... I don't know how to describe it. Like, if I was going to recommend a dark magical girl anime that had to do with abuse, I would recommend Wonder Egg Priority, because I think that Wonder Egg Priority is about the girls' feelings about being abused and how they're attempting to work through that, versus showing it for shock factor, which I feel like Magical Girl Sight does, at least in the first episode. It just handles it much better, you know? I guess if that makes any sense. Yeah, I mean, the whole first episode was just, like, abuse after abuse, but especially the scene with her brother. I just felt like it was meant almost as fan service instead of showing something bad happening. And I guess that's why I just couldn't get into it. Whether or not the rest of the show continues that way, I'm not sure, but it was just too much for me to handle, I think, because that's a personal thing. Hello, welcome, Inno! Once again, I feel like her face is looking funky. Let's see. I don't really know. I'm just gonna move on to a different panel. This panel is causing me extreme struggle. Midnight says, I've heard of Wonder Egg. Seems like a pretty good anime. Yeah, I would highly recommend Wonder Egg. I would say do not watch the movie that comes after it, though. They kind of threw together this movie that was delayed several times and ended up, like, it definitely had different people working on it because they tried to redeem a bunch of characters in it that were shown as being pretty evil, and I didn't like that. The animation was also horrible. It just had a totally different direction. So I just pretend that the movie does not exist and just watch the series Wonder Egg Priority, and I think that it's artistic. It has some amazing animation. It talks about trauma in like a very abstract, nightmarish way, but in a really good way about working through it, I think. So Wonder Egg Priority was amazing. I loved it. Are you doing good, Inno? Okay, let's work on another panel. I'm struggling with that panel. We're gonna work on this panel. Belgium is getting served some chicken wings or something. Alright, I'm gonna start with Belgium. It's really funny when I draw her. I tend to start with her little cowlick first over everything else. Even though that really should not be the first thing I'm starting with. Akane says, Allie, what 2024 animes do you recommend? Haven't watched much anime this year. Can't seem to find any good ones. Alright, so 2024 animes. I highly recommend Dungeon Meshi. I know that you've probably heard a lot of people hype it up recently, and I thought the hype was overdone, but decided to give it a shot anyway, and it is amazing. It is one of the funniest animes that I have ever seen. I'm not even joking. It is hilarious and emotional, and is somehow simultaneously highly disturbing and highly wholesome. I don't know how this show pulls it off. It is so good. The animation, these meme moments, oh my gosh, it's just so awesome. So if you haven't heard of it or watched any of it, Dungeon Meshi is the way to go for this season. There's another anime that I also highly recommend from the 2022 anime, which is Kaiju number 8. This anime also balances humor with some scary moments. You know, it's very action-packed. I like that it takes a look behind the scenes at, in a world where kaiju are a thing and are always attacking cities, who is the cleanup crew and what are they doing? So it kind of starts out with this premise of there's a guy on the cleanup crew who wants to become one of the soldiers that defeat the kaiju. But he's just stuck year after year, you know, aging, submitting applications to the soldiers that defeat the kaiju, and just not being able to get into the force. And finally he encounters a new friend and some other interesting things that happen to him that allow him enough power to become a soldier that fights kaiju. It is so cool. So cool. I highly recommend it. Akane on, I don't know which one you're asking about, but for Dungeon Meshi and Kaiju number 8, there's not really any fan service. I'm also not big on fan service. Actually hate it with all my heart. Sometimes I put up with it if the plot is good enough, but hate it. So I would say that these two are pretty good along those lines. So I think you're good to go on both of them. You know, there is a scene in, you know, the Kaiju number 8 in one of the first episodes where it shows a girl in the bath, but again, it didn't really do it in a weird way, and it only showed something like that once. So I think it's pretty safe from that perspective. And then Dungeon Meshi is also very good about that. So recommend both of them. I think you'll be completely fine with them. I have not watched My Hero Academia yet, though. I have a friend that really loves it. I guess, you know, even when I was younger, it was just hard for me to get into superhero things. And though I know that My Hero Academia is not the superheroes of Marvel and DC, it's just still hard for me to get into superhero content that isn't Magical Girl, I guess, if you count a Magical Girl as superhero. Which sometimes I do, depending. I remember my sister was reading the My Hero Academia comic book for a while, actually before the anime came out, and she said that she liked the first few chapters, but then she got pretty bored and just kind of gave it up, and then it became a TV show, but she just didn't feel like watching it. So I wonder if that's kind of at the same point where Ino is getting bored, where they're just, as you would say, they're just yapping? I try to keep my reviews fairly free of spoilers, that's for sure, but sometimes it's hard. Oops. Oh, nice, Akane. What kind of manga did you buy? I've been really craving buying some manga, and I'm going to be at a mall with tons of manga this weekend. I'm not sure how I'm going to resist. Oh, Belgium looks so young today. She's supposed to be a little older than that. Let me just do my aging up 101 and just shrink the face. I've had a lot of clients that don't like that my characters are so young looking, so I've been attempting to make them look more their age, I guess. Okay. Oh, is there a new Black Butler coming out? I did not know that. I did watch Frieren. I watched all of Frieren, actually. Finally finished it a few weeks ago. And, I mean, I would recommend it, I guess. For some reason, I felt like I should feel more attached to it, but I just don't really. But it's really solid. You know, it's really solid anime. I don't know what my problem is. I just wasn't feeling... I don't know. I don't know how to put it. It's a good anime, and I feel like it should be more up my alley, but for some reason I just wasn't really digging it, I guess. But I'm glad they made it. I mean, the animation was beautiful. I enjoyed watching it, but I was never excited to watch it. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's like when I put it on, I was always like, yeah, that was nice. And then would just completely forget about watching it again when the new episodes came out. Hello, welcome, son. Gonna do the hand off the side of the table thing here. Surprisingly kind of hard to make it look realistic. Getting somewhere. Just shifting around in my seat. Let me get some water. I need to drink some water. And also save. Save. It's been an hour and I didn't save this once. It's definitely my bad habit. Onto the next part of this, which is going to be which kind of has like a weird head shape, so I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can fix that before I even start to sketch this. Alright, so making her skull a little smaller is gonna help. Ino says, I sort of gave up on learning art recently because I was going nowhere. That's too bad. I think if you had fun doing it, you should keep at it. You know, a lot of people feel like if they don't succeed at something immediately, then it's not worth doing, and I don't think that that's true. Penny says, your art is great, and your animations for Inno. See, there's the encouragement that you need, Inno. And, you know, honestly, sometimes, as artists, we just kind of go through plateau phases. You know, and that's just normal, so if you feel like nothing's improving, all of a sudden you'll get past that roadblock, and then all of a sudden your art will quadruple in, you know, skill. good. I'm glad that you're not gonna give up. I'm gonna pull up a picture of what her hair is supposed to look like. I almost kind of feel like I'm doing this wrong. That's better. Okay, so yeah, she's got a bandana on, so her hair is gotta be kind of like over the bandana. I'm gonna pop this out and put it off to the side. I don't know if you guys can actually see that or not. No, it doesn't show up on the stream, but that's okay. You already saw my reference. Okay. Alright, so she's got a headband. We are gonna start with that. Headband seems too low, doesn't it? Unless her eyes have to move down a little bit more, potentially. Oh, thank you. This one? Do you mean the one that I just pulled up the page? I'll put it back up, once I'm done with this one, but yes, it was a pretty detailed page. I'm just gonna delete that and try that again. Okay, that's a little bit better for placement. Alright, so her hair was supposed to be kind of over the headband. Oh, the hairline just seems so low. Struggling. The only thing really to do is just move down her eyes, I think. Just make this, look more like the back of her head. Sorry, I got on here when I was struggling today, so everything is turning out very wonky. Alright, now for some attempts on the eyes. Oh, jeez. I don't know why that keeps happening. There we go. Alright, go get yourself some water. Good thinking. Okay, let's remove that line art and see how I did. Looks alright. Yeah, in fact, I do not like anything that I've drawn today. Yeah, all of it is, not really up to my standards. I don't really know what is going on today that is making drawing so hard. Maybe I'll see if I have any other pages to work on instead of struggling over this one. Let's see, I have the page before this, but it looks like it's going to be even more complex to draw. Excuse me. So I'll go back to folder that has chapter 20 in it. I have 2 other pages I could work on. Got 2 other pages to work on, but they're sad. It kind of potentially seems more appealing to me right now. I think I'll draw this one. Or try to, at least. Let's see if I can even draw anything correctly today. Oh, I'm also kind of losing my voice. Let me go and get some water real quick. I'll be right back. I'm back. Sorry, long water break. We're just gonna start this new, more depressing comic book page and see what happens. To see if this one is actually easier to draw somehow, maybe? Since apparently I couldn't draw the happy and fun scene today. Just trying to find where this black sketch is. That way I can turn it blue. Right, this sketch. Oh, get these bubbles that just pop out of nowhere. If you did go to sleep, Inu, I hope you sleep well. This line is stopping me. Just gotta cut it off. Once again. Trying to draw his sweater. Hi, welcome Arn, how are you? Arn says, I'm good, I hope everyone present is doing good too. I am doing alright. Oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? It happens sometimes. I feel like every time I do something I get a big black dot at the end of my lines. Easy second shoe. There we go. We'll just combine those layers. What is the noise that sounds like a fan? It's likely the fan on my computer. It's running, so I do have, I mean this might be extra noisy, but I don't want it to overheat, so I have another fan that I should put on. so might be even more noisy, but if you can hear the GPU fan, then that's always a bad sign, because I have had that fail twice. So I'm just gonna put on that additional little fan that I have to keep it cool. It's not that hot in here today, though. It's been a hot couple days, though. Finally, it's back down to the 60s. Akane, is there anything that you and your friends have been working on recently? I know y'all are always up to some kind of music or game kind of thing. Oh yeah, so I guess y'all do have something you're working on currently then. Oh, too many things to mention. Man, y'all must be super busy. Kane says, me and Arn plan to make a Teto Megalovania together as a collab, but Arn doesn't know what you're talking about. That's such a funny interaction. Oh, you are collabing with Akane? Okay. I'm glad you've been looped in to your own collab. Okay, so you guys are gonna use the Vocaloid Teto to create a Megalovania song? Is that what the collab is? Alright, yeah. Alright, so you plan on using Teto's voice box, I guess is what it's called for Vocaloids. Very nice. like his eyes are in the wrong place, but I like this facial expression, so I'm just gonna draw the eyes and then move them around until they seem like they're in a good position, which, as you can tell, is kind of my way of doing things. Akane says it'll be an original song based on Megalovania because at this point it's going in a pretty original direction. At first we weren't planning on using Tedo's voice and it was just supposed to be regular old Megalovo, but later we thought we could actually put Tedo's voice in this, and we'll do that if we can. Very interesting. Have you used any Vocaloid or voice boxes, I guess, before? I'm just curious what the process is like for that kind of thing. Welcome, Ronald YC. How are you doing? Arn says, literally zero experience on using Vocaloid/voice boxes. We'll have to take our time with the project. Well, that's cool that you're getting into something new, though. Akane says, I've tested with a demo version of Hatsune Miku. Not easy, but not hard to understand. Takes a bit of time to figure it out, but it's worth it. Though, still kind of bad at it, getting it to work, so yeah. Interesting. So do you just feed in lyrics, or do you have to, like, somehow make her pronounce every single word, then? Yeah, it seems interesting. I remember Porter Robinson, I don't know what he's doing now. He kind of went in a new direction now, which I'm not, like, super into, I guess, musically, but he created his own voice box at one point. And that was pretty neat, I guess. Ryan says, I'm sure we'll figure something out. We always do. That's a good mentality to have. Y'all do always seem like you're doing a lot of different projects and able to accomplish a lot. It's really cool to see. Akane says, pretty sure you gotta make her pronounce the words. Oh, okay. So, is that using, like, written Japanese language or something, then? To make her pronounce words? Like, if she needed to pronounce something in English, she would have to use, like, katakana or something? Sorry, I'm being a little silent as I draw this very intense eye. Watery pupil. Connie says, for Japanese, they have something called syllabaries instead of letters. Syllabaries are basically symbols that represent syllables, and these can be used to make words. Yes, I'm learning Japanese. So I've been learning. I have learned all of the hiragana letters, how to spell and pronounce them. And I'm trying to learn katakana now. I've learned a little kanji, but I couldn't draw any of them from memory. But if I see them, I'll know what some of them mean. It's definitely a struggle. As far as actually learning what the words I can spell mean, that's a different story, but I'm definitely progressing. Connie says, I think there's an English and Japanese version of it. It's been a while since I tried, and longer since I downloaded it. Oh, yay! You're learning Japanese too! Yeah, kanji's rough. Have you tried out, I was using for kanji a website called Wani Kani, and you can learn a lot of kanji for free, and I found it really impactful and fun, and I was retaining a lot of the information. However, when I got to a certain level, if I want to continue, I do have to pay for it, so I haven't progressed with that, but I plan to, because it really was that beneficial. Like, I was learning things way faster than I would with Duolingo, or the other thing that I'm doing is an old copy of, Pimsleur Speak and Understand is what it's called. Yeah, and also I don't like how from what I'm learning with katakana, it's like, it's like that, and like this are all 3 different syllables or something. And I'm really struggling with it, because it's like, that's like the in sound, this is like a she sound, and this is like a so sound or something, and I'm probably getting that completely wrong because I'm struggling with it right now, but I like how, at least in hiragana, those are all very separate looking characters, like I can tell them apart. Iron says, not focusing on kanji right now, focusing on expanding my vocabulary and learning Japanese alphabet. Yeah, that's definitely a good place to start, I think. I just ended up kind of doing all 3 at once, and I feel like learning some of the simpler kanji, things like entrance and exit and, water and these kind of things. So now when I watch some videos where like a guy will walk around places in Japan and he just films wherever he's going, and I'm actually able to kind of register some of these more important kanjis that are out and around. So that's pretty neat, I think. But as far as learning more advanced kanji, I've definitely taken a break to focus on katakana. Yeah, maybe she has 2 strokes. As I said, I'm still learning that one. I've already completed learning hiragana. Katakana is the current one that I'm on, and I'm struggling. But still, they're all very similar, wouldn't you say? For katakana instead of hiragana. His shoulders needed to be fixed a little bit. Akane says, I haven't touched another language in a while, don't know if I ever will. Might try to learn Chinese because I have some Chinese friends, so it could be helpful. Yeah, for sure, that'd be definitely helpful if you had somebody to speak to and bounce it off of. Hello, welcome Crobazilla, how are you? I'll do guy down here. It's very small, so I'm going to have to delete some detail and expand those lines. Erase his face. Combine these and picking up those lines. I'm glad you're doing well, Cobrazilla. Yeah, the angle is the only thing that's different, is what Arn's saying. It does make it pretty complicated. So, I'm definitely doing my best, but it's a struggle. I'll get there eventually. Have to learn those angles. Alright, I'm just deleting some detail off of this since it's a tiny drawing. From here on out. By a tree, so I'll have to fill that in. Do the phone panel. Thanks, Arn. I hope it goes well for you too. I am definitely enjoying it. I would like to visit Japan in about 2 years. That's what me and my fiance are hoping. So we want to try to at least get some, you know, base reading and speaking down so that we can converse and get around. We want to go a little farther out into the country. I know in Tokyo, pretty much, you know, everyone can speak some level, you know, of English, but we want to go out into some more rural places and see some shrines and eat some food out there, so we're just trying to learn. Oops. Thank you, Akane. I'm glad you like it so far. This one is easier to draw than the other page, that's for sure. The other page was just not turning out, so that is the nice thing about having several pages sketched, though, because if one's not working, then I can just move to, you know, the next one and see if that one will work. I want these lines to be squiggly. There we go. It's like an old looking cell phone thing going on. This vintage technology phone. Thanks so much, Arn. I draw every day, pretty much. No, I guess I've been doing a lot of like vectorization and stuff for freelance work as well, which isn't necessarily. I guess it's drawing. It's just drawing in a bunch of shapes on top of one another. So for commissions, I don't use Clip Paint Studio a lot anymore, which is kind of interesting. So when I get back on here, I'm like, oh wow, look at how quick these drawings come to life. I don't have to draw every single circle and cube and whatnot and layer them on top of each other to make a human. Just gonna kind of freehand this tree. Do some ferns in here. Cobra says there's a cat napping on your head. This is my my meow bread. I finally found it, so I made this at some point. I guess this was actually for my last 1 year anniversary. I created this little cat that's supposed to be a piece of bread, but a cat nonetheless, that can sit on my head. And when my computer got wiped after it got a virus at the end of last year, I thought I had lost it, but then when I was on Steam, I saw it, and I was like, oh, I don't know how it managed to save it, but I'm glad that it did. I didn't think I had like a backup file or anything, so I'm definitely happy that my meow bread still exists. So I'll probably put it on Etsy, since my my Vtuber assets have been doing pretty alright on Etsy. I don't know why I did such a big brush for these. I'll have to shrink this. There you go. The cat loaf! Bread cat lore, meow bread lore is wild. Yeah, we had a baker from Japan that would stop into my streams sometimes, and they had pioneered a cat-shaped bread loaf for the bakery that they were working for, and so we decided to draw it. That's kind of how it became. Arn says it's NO asleep. Potentially. They did say they were sleepy. I wouldn't blame them. So we're just gonna add some details to this tree. It's a very squiggly tree. I don't know if I really like how it looks, but once again, things are kind of ending up a little wonky anyway. Fix the top of the tree. I think that's where the problem lies. Yeah, something like that looks a little better, I think. Alright, let's bring back the comic panels. Just a second. Oops. Misplaced his fingernail, but you know what? It doesn't actually look bad. Alright, I don't remember what was supposed to be in that top scene up there, so... What was supposed to be up there? Put back all of the sketch layers. I guess maybe some words or something? Alright, so I'm gonna do some layering here. This can go on top. I wanted to even go over the panels. I'm gonna try to select only this. Something a little bit more like that, and I think there's something that's supposed to go here, I think, but I don't really know what it is. So I'm just gonna, I guess, put something in there for now. Guessing this is also supposed to be some kind of words. I don't remember what I wrote for this scene! Oh, was there an Akane bread? Okay, I'm gonna remove some of the sketch layers. I feel like this one was done in too big line art, so I'm just gonna just shrink that. There you go. Seems like I removed the outer... that one, yeah. I need that on so that I can see where this would be cut off in case of printing. Arn says, so is this an animation frame or a comic book panel? This is a comic book page. So here's the whole thing. You can kind of see. I won't go into really what's happening because maybe it'll be spoilers. I mean, I guess you're already viewing it, so maybe it's already spoilers for anybody who's actually read my comic book so far. But yes, so this is supposed to be a comic book page, not animation. Sometimes I do some animation with live 2D, but not always, and that one would be colored and split into different layers. This one I'm just kind of all drawing it on the same page. I mean, it would be neat if this was an animation, though. Hi, welcome Jess, how are you? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add some screen tone to all of this. I'm going to start by removing that, and I'm actually going to take away this hue. I want to just focus on this tree. No, there's not a lot going on this side. I want to fill it and give, like, put some more forest back there though, so I'm gonna take off the guidelines once again. Oops. Yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna use some pre-made tree screen tone to kind of fill in the rest of this. Hello, Jess. Jess wants to know what day I will be at PortCon this year. I will be there to set up on Thursday, but I probably won't go into the convention so much other than to get my badge and all that. And then I will be I'll be around on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday inside of the marketplace, which is located inside the main mall and the old David bridal store. And then I will be running a panel on Friday called Magical Girl Tunes and Doodle Party. We play some Magical Girl songs, you get some free coloring sheets, I have all these art supplies for people to use. It's just a really chill place to kind of gather all the Magical Girl lovers to one place so that I can talk to them about our favorite shows without me having to search desperately around the convention. It's a really fun time. What days will you be there? Okay, let's add some background. So, I'm actually a guest this year also, which is pretty exciting. So, I guess I'll have a kind of special position in the marketplace. It's very cool. I'm excited. I have not been to PortCon before, though I did go to Animane last year, and I loved that convention. Here's my tree tone. I feel like that really fits the mood. Let me see how the other panels look on top of it. Oops. Make these trees a little smaller in this area. I want this tree to be a little darker and mysterious looking. This is supposed to be nighttime after all. Kind of make the whole tree have some darker shading to it. This one and the forest a little darker, and then I should just definitely add a night sky, I guess. As you can see, my process is mostly just me talking to myself about what I should probably do. For a long time, I wasn't really working on comic panels on stream because this is kind of just how it is. add some white cross hatching to make this eye out here stand out as a separate panel. Gotta choose one of my things over here. Move that down. Aaron says that's basically my entire personality talking to myself. Akane says, this panel reminds me of one part in the earlier volumes. If you know, you know. It's quite spoilery. What, and he's crying by himself? He tends to do this a lot. We just don't show it in the comic book. Or we really haven't up until now. Oops. Have to stay on that one. There we go. Arn says, as it turns out, I in fact do not know. Welcome, Prince Allie! You certainly are the cult of personality. How are you doing today? I don't want to really give this any color, actually. I think it's just better black and white, even though his hair is black and his outfit should be mostly dark. I think I like it better this way. I'm just gonna add some, like a darker line around him. Make it stand out some more. Oh, peace! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, it does look similar to that panel. I didn't even put that one together. Also, everyone is like, what are you guys talking about? It's like, it sounds so vague. Let me plug in my external hard drive. Here, I can show you this old comic book page. Oops. Just gonna slide that over here. That's plugged in. That would be in my recovery. And pages. Or rather, I guess that was in, I want to say like volume 4, maybe? Yes, I was right. There we go. Is that another page? This is from volume 4, so I guess it, oops, it definitely has similar vibes, similar freak out vibes. Prince Allie says, I'm a little pissed off. I ordered something and it was supposed to arrive today, but it got moved 3 days from now. I'm on the verge of a frenzy. So I have been attempting to get some t-shirts that I ordered, and I accidentally put the wrong zip code on, but managed to finally change it. But I have had to talk to so many UPS employees and try to get them to confirm with me it's going to the right place, only for it never to go to the right place. It's becoming very, very frustrating, so I've been keeping my freak out in as well over mail issues. And now the post office is closed, and the issue is that I just have a P.O. box that I'm using right now. House that I live at doesn't have a mailbox, so I'm not really sure what to do about that. I might not have t-shirts like I wanted at the convention. That would just be really too bad. Akane says, yes, this panel reminds me of Peace. I can't say what the heck that is because it's a spoiler. Akane says, speaking of, may reread the whole series soon. It was so good. Aw, thank you. It always makes me happy when people want to reread it. I tend to reread it a few times a year myself so that I can make sure that I'm not forgetting anything that needs to go in for sure and that kind of thing. Hi, welcome, Kalamali, Allie. How are you? Allie says, I just happened to be drawing and I saw this stream. Oh, nice! Now we can draw together. And then they also say, nice drawing. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Arn says, I don't know. Al? Are you talking to me? I'm not sure. Asking somebody if they know about Devil May Cry. I do not know what that is. I've heard of Devil May Crybaby, but haven't watched it. As for Devil May Cry, I do not know what that is. Darken this up a little bit. And then I have these sketches down here. Now these are obviously more loose. I wasn't really sure what I was doing down here. But I know this turned out like I wanted, I think. So I have to do something on the screen here though. Draw a circle. Oops. I think that could be a little smaller on the phone screen. I don't know if I'll do a little picture or just leave that blank and just write one underneath it. Arn says, yes, Allie is asking you. Devil May Cry is a pretty big franchise, mainly to do with the games. The fourth game, one of your favorite games of all time. Interesting. What kind of game is it? I don't know why I haven't heard of it. Then again, I guess I'm not really very knowledgeable about what is happening in the game world. Hello Marley. Allie says, you draw manga comics. What is the name of the comic you were drawing? I am working on a comic of my own called Magical Princess Sky. This is the 8th volume that I'm working at. I did drop a little link at the top of the chat that says my name of my website is Allie-chan-art.com, and you can click on that and it'll have some information about the comic book series and a place to buy them. I also have digital PDFs for a cheaper price instead of just buying them traditionally printed. It is a self-published series I've been working on for about 9 years now, so I'm really excited about this next volume. Thank you, Akane. That'll help to have it spelled out, too. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for asking. It's the whole reason I became a Vtuber, was because I wanted to have more people read my work. Okay, let's put back our little guidelines. Oops. There you go. Well, that's really the only comic book the only panel on the page. Just go like that. I don't like that it's cutting off his hand. So, can be kind of in the middle. How about that? I want that to be a little thicker. And I do want some shading on this page. Or this panel, rather. It's not a whole page. I just feel like it might make a little bit more sense if it had some shading. Oops. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm planning on turning it into screen tone. Oops. My bucket didn't like that. Alright, now for turning it into screen tone. There we go. Bye, Kawaii Girl. Thanks for stopping in. Alright, not really sure what I'm doing at the bottom here. As you can tell, sketches aren't as refined. So I guess I'll hop over to another page. Arn says the game is all about using demonic powers and arsenal to kill demons in stylish ways. Stylish, huh? And save the world. It has a message about power and our existence as humans and what it means to be one. It has amazing soundtrack, multiple playable characters. Interesting. Definitely not one for like shooting games, I guess, which is why I don't play a lot of them. I even have, as you've seen, massive amounts of trouble with things like, you know, Deltarune. So I'm not really sure what kind of games I'll get around to playing in the future, but it's always fun to hear about the plot lines of games. Bye, Allie. Thanks for stopping in. Hope to see you again soon. game. The Devil May Cry is a very unique franchise. Interesting. It sounds good. Maybe that's one of those things I'll have to look up and see if there's another streamer streaming it or something. That way I can actually watch watch the game and the lore instead of having to attempt to trudge through myself. I'm always one for stories about, you know, what it means to be a human and that kind of thing. It's just a matter of actually playing it, but I'm definitely going to look it up just to see what it looks like and that kind of thing. Oops. Not mean to get rid of that. I'm going to tone down that line art so I can see what I'm doing more. Oh my gosh, I hate these circles. I don't know why this is happening more and more frequently. I think it really has to do something with when I'm streaming too. I don't feel like it happens as much when I'm just drawing something normally too, which is weird. I don't know if it's something like the processing power. Now for the hair, which is actually, I think it's in braids for the scene. How long are the braids? I don't know. Let me open up one of the pages that's close to this so that I can check. So that's a page close to this. Alright, so braids down to about her elbows. So that's pretty much like here. Oops, oh my gosh, the circles! See you soon, Akane. Arn says, Devil May Cry is known for having one of the best combat systems in the entirety of gaming. Oh, interesting. Would you say that it's, like, easy on a beginner for, you know, playing a combat game, or is just well developed. He's gonna just be lazy and just copy that right over so it's the right length. Do a little erasing on the bottom half. Okay, now time for the eyes. Okay, let's get rid of the line art and see how it's looking. Do the flip of death. Yeah, it looks fine. Erase the hair that's going over her skirt. Well, that's nice that the game at least allows different people of different skills to work in the game. I think that's probably what I'd be most worried about with a tougher game after struggling so much with undercap. I'm sorry for yawning. Oh my gosh. I feel so sleepy. Now to draw a niece. She's not very happy. Arn says, the characters definitely make it shine. They're beloved by many. My favorite is Nero. I love his theme, and the one he has in the 5th game of Devil May Cry is a banger. Did I mention it has great music? I think you did. As far as video game music, the only one that I've really listened to as a soundtrack so far has been the Nier Automata soundtrack. My fiance was playing it once, and I was just watching, and I really liked the music, so I found some of the songs to put on my playlist for when I'm drawing and just need something kind of quiet but still motivating, just kind of what's nice about a lot of game music. put that line there. To these irritated cat ears. Alright, sorry, I was kind of zoning out there for a moment. Okay, I'm gonna remove the base sketch layer and see how I feel. I think that's looking pretty good so far. Yeah, the dot does strike again. It keeps happening. Man, it does think. Not really sure how to make that stop. Aaron says, I like how this is looking. Thank you. I should really hit save. I did not really draw a sketch of this hand. Hopefully I can just freehand it alright. Yeah, it looks like okay. Working at it. I draw the rest of her fingers, I guess. I just kind of left her fingers in random holes in them. Alright, on this page, bow is on the opposite side that's not going to show on her dress. So I don't have to worry about that. So next I'm going to do this scene, which is just an expansion of this scene basically, which makes things easy. As you can tell, I've been trying to do a lot more of this so that I can tell the story I want, but have it be a little faster. Since it's taken me like 3 years to get this far on this volume for some reason. A little smaller. I'm just gonna change the facial expression. I'm gonna put Sky a little closer. Put her where she belongs here. I'll just have to edit the arms accordingly. I know it doesn't look like it in this page, but I've also been doing a lot of backgrounds more often, which is something that I kind of avoided altogether in the first few volumes, so definitely feeling proud of myself for that. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. Alright, let's pretend her arms are about that long. So they come from this direction. And his facial expression changes in this scene. His eyes get a little wider. Smaller eraser. Mouth is on a different layer. Oops. Is that her eyebrow that I drew? I don't know why I did it like, whoa, like, why is it up there? Let's, redraw it. I want to do a different mouth too. Hi, welcome back, Akane. How are you? Okay. There's definitely another panel coming along. Oh, nice. That sounds good. Was your doggy happy to be outside? Oh, very nice. What is your dog's name? I'm sorry if you had told me and I forgot. Actually gonna thicken this side of things, I think. And this one. There you go. Henry? Oh, what a very proper name for a doggy. There's some hair. Sorry, I'm getting very focused and quiet here. It's sleepy, apparently. Oh, nice. What AU are you making this time? You do have a lot of ideas, but that's a good thing. It's a old AU that you're bringing back, Virtual Tale. That was the old theme. Now you're calling it Virtual Voyage. Yours are pretty familiar, actually. So I'm guessing Undertale AU, and then it was a bunch of virtual characters, if I remember right, that were all kind of combined in the same universe, right? Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, if I didn't remember the right one. The shading is going to be a little tricky. There's like a fire that's kind of below and behind them. So her shadow is going to cast on him, and then a lot is going to be very dark, I guess. See how that works out. Oops. Oh yes, VTubers. Yes. Oh, okay, I remember this one now. And there was a bunch of VTubers that you liked in it. Do you still keep up to date with all the VTubers that you used to watch? I've tended to watch VTubers less over the last year or so. I still have some like YouTubers that I watch, but much less VTuber content, I guess. I used to sometimes tune into streams while I was, you know, drawing and that kind of thing of certain people, but I just haven't really been doing that recently. Yeah, very time consuming. But the AU is still about VTubers that you like, right? Now, gotta give sky the same shading. Which I guess kind of unfortunately means the whole front half of her face is gonna be kind of in the shadows. Oh, nice. Well, that's still a fun way to kind of, you know, do something creative, but about some VTubers that you like still. so that's gonna be like that, kind of facing away from the fire. Kind of intense shading. I'm definitely gonna tone it down in the end, I think. Oh yay! I'm in it too! Thank you, Akane. So this is a shadow because the fire is below the skirt area. Do some shading back of the head. My music is paused again. Just give me a second and I will go and fix that. Yes, I would love to listen. Shoot me an email, okay? Well, still that's very cool for people to go back and see where, you know, everything started and then where it kind of ended up. Just like how people would post like concept art and stuff for video games and anime, even if the original design is different in the end. I always just think that's so cool to see. See if I like how that's looking. I'm really liking this brush today. Thank you! Might see if this looks better as screen tone. I'm not sure if it does. However, I'll darken the background some more. Definitely need some more. Some errors down here. I am starting to get hungry. Does anybody know what they're having for their next meal? I need some recommendations. I made some soup last night and it was pretty good, but very garlicky, and I already had some for lunch, so I'm not really looking forward to eating it again. I think I have to wait until tomorrow's lunch, or the garlic was just going to be too much garlic. So tonight I could make just like macaroni and cheese and hot dogs, or I could go a little bit more intense and make some tacos. I picked up some ingredients for that the other day. I don't know if I'm really feeling all that effort though. Oh, you don't have any? What kind of foods are your favorites? Mine says you could fry an egg. I never get tired of fried eggs. Oh, that's true. I do actually have some eggs, some farm fresh eggs actually, that were dropped off by one of my fiance's family members the other day. Those farm fresh eggs are pretty good. I used to do this like a very unhealthy fried egg with a piece of toast that was fried in butter, almost kind of like a grilled cheese is, and then on top of that I would just put the whole thing just covered in mayonnaise. So it was like double egg with all that mayonnaise. I loved it though. Fortunately, I don't have any bread though. Yes, eggs are nice. No, your next meal is just a bunch of water? Well, it's definitely good to drink water, but make sure you eat something today, too. I have some sparkling cranberry lime seltzer water right next to me, and it's pretty good. I don't really know what I'm doing now. I'm just zooming in and out of this. I know it needs some speech bubbles, but once again, I can't remember what exactly the dialogue is here, so I like to go into the document where I have all the dialogue and then kind of cross-reference it. Arn says it's 12:26 a.m. Water hits different after midnight. Yes, you are right. That it does. I find myself struggling to drink water throughout the day, but after midnight I can just start chugging it. Just glasses and glasses of it. That's when I get all my hydration. I kind of did something on all 3 pages that were half done or just sketched. So I guess I'm going to have to spend some time sketching some new pages to work on stream. So I haven't actually sketched any pages in a while. I've just been working on sketches that I already did. So I'll have to make some time to do that. It's not going to be this week though, with the convention coming up, that's for sure. So I'm just adding some different additional splatters on this. You can never have too much water. Yeah, I mean it's very hard to have too much water, I think. I have heard that some people, you know, if you're dehydrated and you drink too much water, that can become a problem, but for the most part, as much water as you can drink is a good thing. It's so rainy outside. I wonder when it's gonna stop raining. Take a look at when it's gonna stop raining. Looks like there might be a little break around 6, I guess. Now I'll go for a walk at that time then, I suppose. Try to go for a daily walk. See what flowers are in bloom. The crazy thing about living here versus in Florida is that there is so much variety in the kinds of flowers and when they bloom and when they die. It's crazy. Hi, welcome again, Albert. Akane says it's super sunny here. Arn says, I wish it was raining here. Entering my room made me realize why I've been walking outside for an hour. It's so hot in there. Yeah, I can understand while walking outside at night is going to be a lot cooler. Akane says, speaking of, I might go for a walk because of the nice weather. Yeah, go do that. Take advantage of the nice weather. I'll probably get off in a little bit once it starts to die down, so I can also go on a walk between the gaps in the rain, but for now, I'll stay on for a little bit longer. Albert wants to know how I'm doing. I'm doing pretty alright. How are you? Just doing some stuff, getting some stuff done. I just did this panel, and I tried to work on this page, but for some reason I was just not getting into it. But I don't really want to draw the rest of this page or the other page. I'm kind of out of pages to draw, but I still want to continue, so I guess I could always try to go back to this. I'm going to take a look at the panels that I got a little closer. Oh, sorry for the yawn. These panels. Yeah, these panels look pretty good, so I can work on these. Oh, I have a can of sparkly water here now, so I can kind of like reference what this is supposed to look like. Alright, I put this thing in the wrong position. Oops. So I was getting something wrong. I thought so. It's kind of crazy how I just kind of forget what things operate like if they're not sitting right in front of me sometimes. Like how to open a can. I don't know. So I've got to move that back. Make it a little smaller. Put her finger back. Yeah, so her finger's kind of in the right place now. Albert says, doing okay, kind of sick right now. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better. That's never fun being sick. Alright, there we go. It's looking more like a drink. Kane says, by the way, the clips channel is coming. Not gonna put it off this time. Have a few rusty clips that are unedited, but I find time to do it. I'll polish everything and upload them. Oh, awesome! I'm glad that you're finally going after that. Oh, I'm glad that you're slowly getting better, though, Albert. Oops. Didn't mean to get rid of that. Trying to put the finger behind this as if she's popping it open. I'll have to do like a big pop sound effect or something just to make it more clear. She's got brown hair. So I'll just start to fill that in. And then clean it up. It's gonna be for those eyebrows and everything as well. I'll have to look at an old photo of her to remember where the streaks in her hair is. So let me go ahead and do some eye highlights. Oops, that's not where I meant to do that next layer. Okay, there we go. Just coming along. Albert says, very quiet in my neighborhood. I can only hear nothing but birds despite it being 10 p.m. local time. Wow, that sounds really nice. It's pretty quiet here right now too. It's just finishing up a little rainstorm drizzle, and there's not that many cars that pass by, which is nice. Alright, my stream has been going on for 3 hours. I think I'm gonna wrap up and prepare to go for a little walk once this rainstorm ends. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining me for so long. It's always nice to work on comic pages in chat, keeps me motivated. We did quite a bit on at least 2 pages and a little bit on another page, so that's good. Technically, I think we could have finished a whole 1 page in this time span. However, we ended up just working on little bits and pieces of separate pages, but that is completely fine. So I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, wrap up and go for a walk. Connie says, no, end of stream. Do you know when the next one will be? I'm not sure. Because while I would like to find some time to stream next week, it might be hard because I have a convention on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So maybe I'll plan a stream for maybe the Monday after, potentially, if that makes any sense. So let me see what date that would be. So my convention's on the weekend. I have to set up on Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm there full time. And so maybe Monday the 1st, so July 1st potentially, as a day to stream. So I'll definitely figure that out when I'm able to. I'm glad that I at least got to stream 2 times this week. Hopefully that kind of makes up for not a consistent schedule and stuff if I stream more often when I can, but yeah. So thank you very much, everyone, and I will see you for the next one. Thanks for staying, everyone. And thanks, Arn says they turned out well, and Akane says I agree. Thank you so much. It was wonderful to hang out too, Arn. And Akane says that they'll email me about the clips and songs soon. Awesome! I can't wait to listen to the song and see some of those clips. Alright, everyone, you have a wonderful day. I'll stay on for a few minutes to watch the ending and answer any messages that are put into the chat during that time. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!